Poverty has increased in Nigeria, but Tinubu on the right path to economic growth. IMF speaks. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, has observed that poverty has increased in Nigeria with rising food insecurity. It added that governance problems remain pervasive and the external environment, viz. Cost of financing, remains difficult, high oil and gas prices notwithstanding. It said the new government is, however, on the right path to economic growth through ambitious reforms. Nigeria, under its new administration, has set out an ambitious reform path to restore macroeconomic stability and support inclusive growth. The authority reformed the 4 price subsidies on unified official foreign exchange windows and are focused on revenue mobilization, governance, and enhancing the monetary and exchange rate policy frameworks, as well as strengthening social safety nets, the IMF said. It added that over the last decade, limited reforms, security challenges, weak growth, and now high inflation worsened poverty and food security. While Nigeria swiftly exited the COVID-19 recession, per capita income was stagnated, real GDP growth slowed to 2.9% in 2023, with weak agriculture and trade, and despite the improvement in oil production and financial services, growth is projected as 33% for 2024 as both oil and agriculture outputs are expected to improve with better security, the IMF report said, adding that the financial sector has remained stable despite heightened risk. Determined and well-sequenced implementation of the authority's policy intentions would pave way for faster, more inclusive, resilient growth. It said, noting that inflation reached 32% year-on-year in February 2024, driven mainly by food price inflation. Inflation reached 32% year-on-year in February 2024, driven mainly by food price inflation, 38%, and loose financial conditions. With continued monetary tightening, inflation is projected to gradually decline to 24% year-on-year at end of 2024. The fiscal position strengthened in 2023. Revenues benefited from naira depreciation and enhanced revenue administration, while expenditure rationalization and restraint allowed for a one-off wage increase to mitigate the impact of high inflation for public officials. Super story 9 at the talk. Yes, super story 9 at the talk until we start feeling these things coming out to tell us that this thing will happen now. We no longer believe the government. The government has lost our trust and they should work to get it back. See, even if the government can't tell us, say tomorrow things will reduce. Even if things reduce at this point, nobody said then bring dollar down. Dollar go down to 900, right? Dollar went down to 900. And me, I was saying it that as people are jubilating, it's not like I'm a bad beleo, but the thing is, I know that this thing is actually not going to last. These people are just doing trial and error. And I also know that it is man-made. Whatever that is wrong with this country today, I want to tell you people, this is not happening in other places. For those who are quick to come and say, for this country, then they pay $2,000 and $2,000 for fuel. My dear, Nigeria and those countries will be the same. Though get some people be saying what happen for their own country. Now normal, it natural. But for this country, na man-made. We know, na man-made. Okay. By fuel price increase, NEPA tariff increase, high cost of living, sharing money to the lawmakers that already has money, etc. IMF, come and live and buy 1 daily cup of rice and 1 pint of gari here now. Then you know what you have entered into. Paul. Continue deceiving this old man. Is there any good thing that is coming from the West further than slave trade? Now, wow. Let Tinubu step down if he doesn't have any plan for Nigeria. This is exactly what I was saying when Buhari was there. I said, Buhari, fine. If you had ruled for 4 years and the end of the 4 years, nobody is saying nothing. Why you not go leave this stage when the ovation the loudest? Nobody saying that drag me. Una drag me that time. See, Buhari did this one, he did this one, he did this one for you, he did that one. Now you don't do for you. Let's know. Okay, IMF has been on this since 1986, postulating economic ideology to our gullible leaders that only leads to regression in Africa, Nigeria in particular. For people who don't get plans, that's what it be. If you have plans, even if they bring their nonsense, whatever, to your front, you go do it in. You go stick to the plan where you get. You are not going to be deterred, you are going to be focused. IMF, you are a liability. You are accomplishing your wicked policies through Tinubu. That man will surely lose in 2027. His election is by voting and not by rigging. You know that the election in Nigeria has never been by voting. The election we'll be having in this country has never been by voting. It is always about living. For once, a Yoruba man is saying the truth. The only thing that can set us free in Nigeria is the people that don't take grievances for a long time. If Tinubu is doing well, for God's sake, all of us will support him. Because an election has come and gone. Only of us need now, only what all we need now is a better life in respect to who is leading. We will support him and wait for next election like Buhari and Atiku in 2019. After that, we forget election and support him and wait for 2023. And wait for 2023. That is what supposed till 2027. I don't understand. And economic growth for the evil political class, nonsense. IMF is a real murderer because they don't want Africa to do well. Unfortunately, we have a leader who do not have any sense of reasoning, but follow president. How can the West tell us what to do? This will tell you the kind of monster Nigeria as a country is facing. Nigeria really problem has just showed up. Until they see this country destroyed, IMF will not rest, but we are still praying. IMF is evil. Why give unfortunate favorable IMF is evil. Why give unfavorable conditions before borrowing them money? Just because our leaders do not have sense. Tinubu don't get any brain. The IMF they rule Nigeria. It is so pathetic. Another slavery. Another after they colonized our forefathers. They're still indirectly repeating through their clueless President Tinubu. It's IMF that is ruling Nigeria, not Tinubu. Don't forget that. Nigeria and most African countries are the most easiest political governance in the world. No accountability, no any responsibility to the civilian citizens. Just take care of your already established money-yielding business. Do some pothole road patches. Pay a little to those who work out the money. Do some grammar promises of paradise to the abandoned citizens. That is it. These are the government without any responsibility to the survival of its people. There is no democracy. All right, on this note, I've come to the end of the news. We say thank you for tuning in to listen until I come your way next time. Enjoy.